Thank you for listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here.
All right, well, welcome back to another great episode of the Scoreboard Addicts podcast. I'm Nick, and with me, as always, is Anthony the Rook, TJ, who's hammered, and our guy, Sal, the intern, Stat Guy Sal.
All right, guys. Also, just to remember, we are available on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search at Scoreboard Addicts. Twitter is at Score Addicts Pod. But always Scoreboard Addicts, search for us in all those social medias. We're at Facebook. And then now we are going to be on Tiki Live. Just look it up, tikilive.com/channel/belly up, which is the Belly Up Sports TV network. We will be on Tuesdays at 9:30 and every Saturday at 7 p.m. Tuesdays episodes will be our Screen Addicts, which is our movie review segments that we do, podcast. And then we also have the Saturday that is going to be just a replay of our podcast. Is available on Apple, Spotify, Spreaker, and pretty much anywhere where podcasts are available. So check us out there. Be sure to tune in to Tiki Live and then stick around and watch all the other great content that we have here at Belly Up Sports Network. What's your handle, Nick?
My handle is on Twitter is at JabberJ. That's JabberJ, JABB3RJ on Twitter.
And then we have TJ with TJ Needs a Beer because he's always hammered.
No.
And then I'm at the Rook 22.
Welcome back, boys.
What's up?
What's up, Nick?
How you yelling? Am I yelling? I feel like I'm yelling.
No, you're good.
You're just
I'm
excited.
really motivated.
You're just
I'm
excited.
really
Ryan
Yeah,
Reed,
he's
2 goals
excited.
tonight.
That's what it was. Is I saw Revo. Saw Revo get 2 goals.
Absolutely.
I'm screaming for the Hattie. I really am. I'm like, I think that would be his first career hat trick. I think.
Pretty awesome.
And I would love to see that right now.
First 2-goal game since 2013.
Yeah. And this would I mean they came out real ugly and flat today. But
They did,
we'll
but
talk
they're
about
coming
that
back.
in a minute. Interesting week in sports. Not exactly the busiest week in sports, but a lot of interesting stuff going on. Knicks, Nets, NFL playoffs, a super bad wild card weekend. Rangers, Yankees doing some movement and some news coming out with potential free agents, signing some international free agents, and Baseball America's Top 100 coming out. But we're going to start off with a new segment. It's called Does Gen Z Know? And here we've got our intern, Stat Guy Sal, and we're going to ask him a question about some 90s stuff that he may not know about because he was born after the year 2000, born in the new millennium. So the first thing we're going to ask our guy Sal is,
Before we
hold on.
start,
Go ahead.
I do want to just preface this because the reason why we came up with this was after we recorded last week's show. We hang around afterwards. You know, we all talk about we bullshit a little bit. So Sal's hanging out with us, and I made fun of Nick for wearing Jankos. And then Sal was kind of like, I don't know what Jankos are. So we had him Google it, and he was like, wow, those are really wide pants.
Biggest pants I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was fascinating to me that he had no idea what Jankos
I
were.
have no clue what they were.
You know what Jenkins stands for, right, Rook?
What's that? What does it stand for? I forgot.
Judge none, choose one.
Well, I'm judging him, and so Sal.
I'd be mad if you can't get a
my.
set.
So,
All right. Jankos
So
are fucking incredible if you skated. If you didn't skate, then you didn't wear fucking Jankos. That's it. I skated. I wore a chain and Jankos because I skated.
So yeah,
See,
get
am I
it.
wrong?
No, dude, Jenko jeans were the shit.
Thank you.
They were in the 90s.
The fucking flamer
That's
heads
right.
and shit.
We're in 2022 now, boys. Got to
I'm gonna go
update
put
the
some Jankos on and go skating after this.
fashion. So
I'm gonna go ice skating too.
I'm sorry. What are you wearing right now, Rook?
I'm wearing a Joe Burrow jersey.
But you're a Giant fan, right?
I'm a Joe Burrow fan, though.
Nah, you're a Giant fan, though, right?
It's all right.
He's a giant twat, is what he is. Wait, can I say twat?
Come on, you can't use that language.
I'm gonna bleep that out later.
You have to bleep that out. That's too harsh. Anyway, try to get back on track here, guys. We're doing a show. We're trying to be professionals.
So,
Next to Gen Z, do you know what that word means, Sal?
Yeah.
All right,
there we go.
Go ahead, ask.
He's one for
Sal.
one.
so does Gen Z know? Sal, do you know what a Tamagotchi is?
Kind of.
Okay.
It's something that goes on a keychain, right? It's like a
is.
game that was
Does
on a
go on-
keychain.
It is.
Not
Like
a
I know
game.
what they are. I just never played one.
So they
Ever.
they made a reemergence as of late, a little kid add-on
Really?
toy. But when we were
Yeah.
younger, they were the shit. Everybody had Tamagotchis in class. Used to get them taken away, and essentially it
What
was
were they?
a virtual pet that you had to
Yes.
feed and take care of and clean up all its poop.
Oh, so
And
it
if
was
you
like a
got-
Nintendo.
Yeah, pretty much. It was a Nintendo, but
Small
for a virtual pet that it had just constantly shit everywhere, like it had fucking typhoid and it was
Yeah, and
making
if
the
you
Oregon
didn't clean
Trail
up
run.
after it, it would die.
Yeah, exactly.
Had to
So
feed it. There would
Feed
be
it.
like a little marker about how old it was.
Yeah,
Oh,
And
this
I
is
think it got to the point where they would start to evolve. I think they got as like the
They would get
next
bigger.
gen Tamagotchis started to evolve.
oh, really? I don't remember them involved.
If you had them once Pokemon came out, that was the next thing. Was like,
yeah.
all right, well, we got to drop a new Tamagotchi, but it's got to evolve. And then if I remember right, weren't there like a Tamagotchi where you could battle them, like you could lock them with your, but it wasn't.
Oh, I've
Tamagotchi,
heard
it
of
was
that.
trainer.
Yeah.
Something
No, I
like
think
that.
that's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
But,
eventually.
All right, so he has
wait,
a
here's-
vague
I think it was
familiarity with it.
Gigapets. A Gigapet, you could
Yeah.
actually like plug them
Yeah.
together and you could fight them.
Yes, you could. That was one of the things.
Dreams.
Too. But the Tamagotchi was great. It was like a size of like an egg. It was like this big, maybe.
It came in like an egg-shaped
Yeah,
thing.
it went
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
on a keychain.
Yeah, and a
Yeah.
keychain.
But essentially, if you didn't pull it out in class and clean up after it and feed it, it would be dead by recess.
yeah. But you would get it taken away.
Teachers were really
You wouldn't
rude.
have to have
because You'd get your Tamagotchi back, it'd be dead, and you'd just be like, "You killed my pet."
it. Yeah, you have a streak going. You don't want to keep murdering them.
All right, Rook, hit him with the next one.
All right, so the next one is Pogs. Do you know what Pogs are?
Not a clue.
Do you know what slammers?
And
are?
I'm not
Wait,
even
do you
gonna.
wanna
I'm
take a
not
guess?
even gonna lie. I looked it up, but before that, I had no idea what they were.
What did you think before you looked it up? What did you think Pogs were going to be?
I didn't even have a thought. Honestly, I had no idea. I never heard of it.
Yeah, so
Tamagotchis I've heard of, but not Pogs.
So there was a game with Pogs.
There we go.
Knicks
Rangers
celebrating.
goal, boys. Sorry to interrupt. Rangers goal. Let's go.
Play the Rangers music.
It's copyrighted. I'm
I
not
know.
going to jail for you or anybody.
So anyway, Pogs were like they had like images on like little circles, and they used to play games. You would collect them, and then they used to have slammers because as part of the game, and you would slam the Pog with a heavier Pog, and they were like sometimes they had like
right.
indents. The cooler slammers had the indents of your hand, so you actually know how to hold it correctly.
Oh,
Think
really?
about
Slam it on.
think about
Depending on the different games.
pretty much a cardboard bottle cap
Yes,
that had different images on it.
There
There
it
you
is.
go. And you'd stack them, and then you'd throw a metal
Oh,
bigger one to knock them down. And if the Pogs flipped upside down, you got to keep those Pogs.
yes.
But what they came out with later on was a Pog maker, where you can essentially take any image out of a magazine that you wanted and glue it to the top of a piece of cardboard and stamp it out and make your own Pogs. So it was essentially just a waste of paper that you just threw a metal, silver dollar looking thing at to collect your friends and take it away from him. And it was
Yeah.
like card trading, but for even worthless paper.
So they all
Yeah.
had different images on it.
Yeah, you
I
could
mean,
buy them
with
that way.
hologram
You can make them that way. They had hologram ones.
The
Yeah,
hologram
it
ones were
was-
badass. You would be like king of the schoolyard if you won a couple holograms.
And they came in long tubes.
Yes, they did come along.
That's where you kept all your Pogs in a long tube.
You
Those
could
other
hide
things
them in the
like
prison
Pringles.
wallet in school so they didn't get taken away.
They're like Pringle tubes.
But these are Pogs. But technically, so in the military, when we go overseas, we don't bring metal money. I guess because we don't want to lose precious metals in foreign countries. So whenever we go to the exchange, instead of giving us back a quarter or a dime or a nickel, they give us back Pogs that are worth a nickel.
Oh, really?
That's actually
Yeah.
pretty funny. That's pretty cool.
That's
Yeah,
what
And
that
how
is.
easy
That
are
is
those to
5 cents.
counterfeit?
Yeah.
That's 10 cents.
Nick can make a killing if he just counterfeits these.
That's a quarter. Listen,
Pretty sure that'd be a federal crime, but I mean, hey.
I'm telling you right now, you don't go to the PX and try to steal, okay? Military bases are the safest places on earth, and we have cops on those bases, and they want nothing more than to actually say that they did something today. So if somebody does something quasi questionable, not even illegal, but like you're like, whoa, that guy just jaywalk, you're down on the ground with your hands behind your back by some freaking juiced up freaking MP or DOD cop.
So Sal, that was it was interesting. I mean, we'll come up with more 90s stuff.
I got one more.
Yeah.
I got one more.
You got one?
I
Well,
got
let's
one. Going with the skaters reference, do you know what soap shoes are?
Oh, those are cool.
So essentially,
Soap
you know what when kids would skate, they would
Do you know what grinding is? Okay. All right.
You know how if
Yeah.
you're skating, you jump up on a rail or a ledge and you slide across it. So what soap shoes were is they were regular sneakers, and inside the arch of your foot would be a plastic piece that you can then jump up on a rail, run up to it, jump up on a rail, and grind down a rail or grind on a curb or any ledge, that was slicked up or made of marble or something like that. So it was essentially the grinding portion of skating while walking around.
Yeah.
So it made it awesome when you wore your soap shoes to school, and like where I went to school, all the steps are marble, and then you just wreaked havoc on those marble steps.
Granite.
Yeah, it was fun though. It was a good way to roll an ankle.
Were you one of those kids that carried around a fucking stick of wax in your pocket?
Always.
So when we were younger, we would, wear our soap shoes with Jenkos and carry around a tube of Pogs with a Tamagotchi on our keychain.
Yeah, with Tamagotchi on the keychain.
Yeah, but that keychain was attached to my chain.
Yes,
on
to my chain
the
wallet.
Jenkos. Yeah.
To my chain wallet. My niece has a chain wallet. And I saw it yesterday. She has no wallet attached to it, and she was wearing it on sweatpants. But I was proud that she had a chain on.
Hell yeah.
And she was wearing Doc Martens too. I got her a pair of Doc Martens for Christmas. So
I had my chain wallet chain taken away from me going into Blink-182 Green Day, and it was added to about a bucket of 1,000 other chain wallets because that's what everybody brought there, and they're like, "Yeah, no weapons." It's like, but how is my wallet going to stay attached to my pants?
I've ever heard in my life. I had my chain wallet taken on my way to Blink-182.
Yeah. What a 90s state.
That was a great
Pulled out my Nokia and called my mom, and I was like, "This is bullshit, Mom."
Dude, I got a Travis Barker's drumstick from that. It was a good night. Other than losing my chain.
Did you smuggle it out in your jail pocket?
No, absolutely not. Mine was already full. Somebody else had to take it out.
He kept the Pogs back there. Okay, so as we're here with Stat Guy Sal, before we send him on our way, Sal, why don't you talk to us about the Brooklyn Nets and what they're doing these days?
Yeah, a little rundown. Kevin Durant, unfortunately, bad news. This weekend got hurt. Yeah, he's out 4 to 6 weeks. Left MCL strain. So
Along with the ashiness, that's tough.
Yeah, along with the ashy ankles that he needs lotion for. So he'll be out for 4 to 6 weeks, so that's a bummer. But good news. The next 11 to 14 games are away games. So Kyrie will be playing a lot. So that's big. Because if we had a stretch where it was 11 out of 14 home games, we'd be in a little trouble. It'd be a problem.
Is Kyrie ready to play though?
Yeah. No, he's been playing. He's been doing good.
Oh,
He's been doing really good.
I don't follow the Nets, so clearly.
No, he's been doing good. The only problem is the Nets are so inconsistent. Like last week, we talked about it a little last week. The Chicago Bulls, they had a big game.
Yeah, lost some money.
And the Nets crushed them.
Yeah, the Nets destroyed them.
Absolutely crushed them. But then the next day, literally the next game, they lose to OKC, a bad OKC team.
I did see that.
I don't get how you can go from just crushing the Bulls, the team that's at the top of the conference, to losing to OKC the next game. I don't get how that can happen.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. But what did they play any other games last weekend, or that was just
they played against the Hornets, they beat them, and then on Monday night they lost to the Cavs. The Cavs are good.
Cavs are pretty good.
They're not bad.
Yeah.
They're not bad, but the Nets should be beating these teams. Nets should have beat the Cavs. They should have beat OKC. The Hornets, they should have did a better job with them. They won the game, but they should have crushed them.
I heard the Cavs are America's team. I read that somewhere today.
America's team?
That's what I read someplace today. I don't know. I mean, I always knew it was kind of bullshit when people say, "Oh, the Cowboys are America's team." I'm like, I didn't get a vote on that one. I couldn't say that. But I saw somebody was like, "America's team is back on tonight," and it was the Cavs, and I was like, "Really, them too?"
No, I've never heard of that.
Twitter's a crazy place to be.
Nets fell to third in the conference. They're only half a game out of first. Miami and Chicago are in first place right now. So they're only half game out, but with KD out for 4 to 6 weeks, you got to pick up the pace. You got to start winning, put in a good stretch on. There was also a rumor today, actually a rumor for the last few days, that James Harden is open to being traded. I don't know if you guys heard that, but he's open to being traded this summer.
Wow.
That was kind of surprising when I heard that today. One of the teams that are interested in him, the Philadelphia 76ers. Yeah. And I also heard that they might do a swap with Harden and Ben Simmons. I heard another rumor like that too. So some interesting stuff going on.
What are your thoughts?
He wants to leave after the season?
I just heard it was a rumor going around that Harden is open to being traded this summer. It might be after the season.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. But Philly is a possible destination. And with the situation with Ben Simmons right now with Philly, I wouldn't be surprised if Ben Simmons is a net next season.
So how does that make you feel if it's a straight up trade, James Harden for Ben Simmons? That's something, to me, it sounds like a downgrade.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty much a downgrade. I wouldn't be too excited about that. I'm not a big Ben Simmons fan. Just a Ben Simmons fan.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would imagine most people aren't.
No,
especially when
honestly, I hope Harden just stays. I hope they don't.
So you would go from someone who always shoots the ball to someone who never shoots the ball.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not a Ben Simmons guy, but they won again. They won tonight against the Washington Wizards. So.
All right. Was it on the road or away? I mean, it was on the road or home game.
I think it was away.
All right, so they had Kyrie at least. So
they had Kyrie.
I guess it's good to have the reinforcement of Kyrie being able to play on the road. Came at a good time. KD gets hurt, and then you have this 11 out of 14, away game. So that's positive for the Nets then coming up.
Each away team they have is a must-win because you have Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have Kyrie, you're in trouble right now because KD's out.
Yeah, definitely. Well, besides that,
when they come back to New York and Kyrie's not playing again.
What?
I said, so what's the plan? What's the plan when they come back to New York and Kyrie's not playing it again, but Durant's still out?
They're probably gonna have to put more minutes on Patty Mills. Probably gonna be playing. They're gonna definitely be playing Aldridge and Blake Griffin more with KD out. They're going to be giving him more minutes, and I like them, but they're not the answer to KD being out. Like, I feel like we need to go make a trade. I'm not. You really can't make a trade because KD is irreplaceable. Yeah. So whatever you're getting for him to replace him, it's not going to be a good replacement because it's not KD. So
that's true.
We'll move on from the Nets. I think we thank Sal for his time tonight. He's going to stay on the sidelines for us.
Thank you, Sal. We appreciate you again.
No problem. No problem. I'll be here.
All right. Thank you. We'll talk to you later. We'll bring you back towards the end.
All right. See you guys later.
Let that lady behind you know she's on TV now. The New York Knicks return of Kemba Walker and a heartbreaker of a loss last night. They lose to the Mavericks. At literally the last 5 seconds of the game, they lose, I believe it's 112 to 110. And I watched the ending of that, and that sucked, man. That really did suck. And again, why the hell
was the Timberwolves, not the
Oh, was it? I'm sorry. It was the Timberwolves. My mistake. I'm
They
sorry.
did beat up the Mavericks recently, though.
That was last week.
The weekend.
It was
Thanks,
late.
Sal, for that one.
I went to sleep directly after that. Thank you, Sal. I was literally in bed watching it on my phone as I was trying to go to sleep. But they lose, and the question everybody's asking is, why is Julius Randle hanging out around the 3-point line all the time now? And the complaint is for a lot of Knicks fans is, shooting 43s a game is not going to help us win when we don't have anybody that can hit a three. But that's analytics ruining basketball as it has every other sport. People who don't play the game telling people how to play the game.
Yeah, well, you get more points from a three-pointer than you do inside. But if you think about percentages, I mean, shots inside are obviously more likely to go in than outside shots. But the outside shots get more points. So I guess that's where it balances out. I think they pretty much eliminate what they're trying to eliminate is the mid-range game with the analytics, because it doesn't make sense for you to have a lower percentage shot that's worth 2 points, where if you take a couple steps back, you hit a three, it's 3 points, even though it's a lower percentage to make it, but it's a higher reward because it's 3 points.
It is, but
That's
then it's also a lot of back and forth with a lot less. A lot less contact. Basketball's boring already because there's no contact. You give somebody a dirty look, and so moving on from return of Kemba Walker. Walker had a great game last night.
Yes, the thing is, the Knicks. I think
cares
more games with him in the lineup. Just son of a bitch. I'll remove him soon. Knicks actually their winning percentage with him in the lineup as opposed to him out of the lineup is much better. So I get whatever happened between him and Tibbs will want to use him, but but he needs to be in the lineup. He's playing well. He plays well when he gets in there. So I mean, it was good to see him have a good game. I like this season for the Knicks that we've seen RJ Barrett take the next step. We did sell RJ Barrett shirts, we were told to bring them down. So we can't sell them anymore. But RJ Barrett is playing incredible. I like to see him, taking the next step this year and maybe even become that number one guy. The Knicks made the trade for Cam Reddish, who is also a Duke alumni. Barrett and Cam both played together. So that's important to have that chemistry already there. It's
created some Zion talk, but I don't think we're getting Zion.
I don't think we are either.
The Giants and the Jets are more likely to get Zion than the Knicks are.
He's also like out of shape right now. People keep making fun about how he's gained so much weight during his injury because he hasn't been back.
He is a big boy. He looks like a defensive end.
Yeah, so who knows what he's going to look like.
And when I mean defensive end, I don't mean an edge outside linebacker defensive end. I mean hand in the ground, OCU Manura, friggin' Michael Strahan in the early 2000s type of defensive end.
My favorite is
not a John Abraham, but like a Reggie White.
Yes, and my favorite is the meme. They put his face on Booger McFarland's face. You ever see that? Body. They put him on his body.
I've never seen that.
It looks exactly like. I wish I had the picture here, but it looks just like. It looks as if it's just true. It's like that's what he looks like now. But yeah, it generates that buzz about Zion coming here. I don't really like that. I would not want to make that move only because, like I said, he's injury prone. He's out of shape. You also have right now with Cam Reddish coming over. They did get rid of Kevin Knox, who really wasn't. I can't even talk this guy.
We're done with this. We're done with this guy. Stat Guy Sal says this generation's Charles Barkley.
He's been removed from the chat.
Which is a great observation by Sal. This generation's Charles Barkley. Except Charles Barkley, it was good, and he was in Space Jam.
Yeah, he was an all-star. He never won a ring, but he was always there. He's an all-star player, great player.
Well, they didn't have super teams back then. You actually had to be good on a team by yourself.
Yeah.
And then build the team around you. You didn't get to call up your best friends and say, we're going to start a team together.
Exactly. Otherwise, he probably would have formed over with Michael Jordan, and that team would have been unstoppable.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the Knicks traded away Kevin Knox, which is important. He was a first-round pick. Didn't really do too much. He had one really good month when he was a rookie. He was like rookie of the month in December in his first year, but not really much after that. He's playing a little better the last couple of weeks. Not insanely great, but obviously good enough to get us to make the trade for Cam Reddish. And then we traded away a heavily protected Charlotte first round pick. So that's good too, because that's not even like it was a guaranteed first round pick, because it was heavily protected. So that's good news as well. So I think it's a good trade for the Knicks. We'll ultimately see how this pans out with Cam Reddish joining the lineup, but we'll take it from there at that point. And hopefully the Knicks get back on track. I mean, they're not really playing that great. I think they're, if Sal could look it up for me, but I think they're in like the playing game right now. If the playoffs
they're even, I think, or like one game short of even because of last night.
Yeah. I think they're 9th or 10th, so they would be in the playing game, which is you got to win one, and then you have to win a second game afterwards. So, but we still enjoy our Knicks. They're 11th place, so they're actually out of the playing game. Then they're close there. They're there. I mean, they're fighting for it.
There's plenty of games left.
There's tons. They're 22 and 23.
I was up there like a game under 500.
You're right.
A game under 500.
Yep, you're right. So
that's why last night was a fucking heartbreaker.
Yeah,
our guy Anthony MSG was brokenhearted.
Yeah, he would have been over a 500, which would have been great.
There we go, another goal for the New York Rangers. Was that Adam Fox with another goal?
Yeah, and now since we're talking about the New York Rangers, I don't have anything else with the New York Knicks. I don't know about you, Nick, but
I'm done with the Knicks. But let's bring back TJ, our Rangers guy. But talking about about hockey, New York Rangers just win. They beat the Toronto Maple Leafs 6-3. Rangers have the third best record in the NFL. Well, not record, but they have the third in points in the NHL right now. T, some thoughts.
Wait, do we have a Rangers correspondent? I forgot. Do we have one?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think I'm looking at him.
What's his name again?
His name is Thomas Doyle Jr.
It's TJ because it's Thomas John, or because it's Thomas Jr.
Thomas John.
It's both.
Tommy John. So let's break this down. Let's break this down. Let's break down a real New York hockey team. Shout out to Butch Goring. Okay, he doesn't need to salt his sidewalks this weekend. There's enough pouring off the fucking guy because he can't handle that. Where are the Islanders, Nick? Oh, that's right. Dead last in the Metro. I think they have 28 points. I think the Rangers have double the amount of points right now than the Islanders do. Those great Islanders. And shout out to Boomer Esiason, who's like a half a friggin' Ranger fan at this point. I'm sick of that guy talking up the Islanders because your son-in-law is on the team. You're allowed to hate your son-in-law. I'm not sure who didn't tell him that, but you're allowed to hate your son-in-law, especially
most
he's an
dudes
Islander.
hate their son-in-law.
Yeah, he's an Islander. Enough with this train of trying to talk them up.
Boomer, that guy's banging your daughter, all right?
This is too funny.
He's putting his place in her place where she came out of your wife's place.
Yeah. Hate the guy. Matt Martin, great hockey player. But when you play for the Islanders, who cares? Fall down a well. Stay there for the season. Who gives a shit? But don't want to get off track. Just wanted to shout out Butch Goring and his saltiness. Okay. Let's see. The Rangers, since let's see, the loss to the Golden Knights, we beat the Ducks 4-1. The Kings beat us 3-1. Then we destroyed the Sharks 3-0. We had a great game against the Flyers, won 3-2. And then we just beat the Toronto Maple Leafs 6-3, who were rolling at this point. Who, I mean, if you haven't watched, Matthews out there is just a scoring machine, but not tonight because you can't kick the puck in the net. Sorry. All right. The Rangers are on fire. I love seeing Reeves get 2 goals tonight. Not just 1, but 2 goals tonight. First and second goal of the season. And you know what? It's well-deserved because the guy is a fourth-line machine. He goes out there, he bangs bodies, he gets gritty, he goes in the corners, he works that puck loose, okay? He gives you everything you could possibly want off a fourth-line big man, and then he just finally put a puck in the net, did it twice, and showed you that he is probably one of the best well-rounded big men out there on the ice. So shout out to Reeves. Awesome addition this year. I knew it was going to pay dividends. It's exactly what the Ranger fans wanted and needed going into the season. And I cannot shoot this guy enough accolades. The guy does it all. He's a tremendous person on the ice. Everybody's feeling his presence. I don't know if you guys saw the little clip of him chasing people around during practice, asking them who's going to win the Super Bowl. But he lightens the load out there. He brings that funny energy to the team, little life. on and off the ice. I absolutely love the addition, and it's paying dividends big time. But the Rangers are rolling hot right now. You got Mika getting involved in the offense a little bit more. Okay, you got Fox doing what he does. Jacob Trouba banging bodies. I think we have an absolutely stacked team. Everybody is counting us out.
Train.
Trouba train, boys. Everybody's counting us out. They have us like halfway down the list on potential to win a Stanley Cup, and I like that. I want you to sleep on us. I understand we've been having problems winning those games against playoff contention teams, right? We lost to the Avalanche. We lost to the Capitals. We lost to the Golden Knights. But you know what? This win tonight was a big win. The win against the Flyers was a big win also. You got Northeast hockey banging bodies. But an original six matchup going into tonight at the Garden, okay, this was a must-win game to just provide that boost of energy going through the rest of the season, that they're not phonies. They're not pretenders. They're not just cleaning up the scrap points in the Northeast divisions. No. We're getting the wins that matter, and tonight mattered. Original six, we won, and we won big fashion 6-3.
I have one.
I think more important than that is coming back down big. Going down, and for those who don't watch hockey, 3-1 may not seem like a big deal. Games end 3-1. Periods generally don't. So going out 3-1 in the first period, the Rangers looked, and you and I, we very briefly talked about that. They looked like dog shit coming into the first period. Everybody looked really slow.
They looked dead.
Nobody's helping Igor.
There was no energy. I believe Toronto put up, I want to say 7 shots on goal before we registered 1, and 2 of them went in.
Absolutely.
So it's not the way you wanted to start, but the bounce back is tremendous.
And we had
more than covers for that slow start, and we were very loose. We were very bad with the penalties. I mean, and it was just like obvious, easy calls. I don't know what it is, because you can't blame any road trips or anything like that. They should have been fresh. They should have been ready to go. They had a couple days off. But you know what? They bounced back.
COVID protocol today.
They did. They did have a couple bodies come off COVID protocol. But you know what? I don't like using that as an excuse, because it's happening all over the league. It's happening every game, every day. It's just something that you know, we're living with and we're fighting through, and every team has to face that. So I don't like that excuse. I didn't like it when the Islanders tried to use it against us. I thought it was a bullshit excuse. It's unfortunate. It does affect the flow of the team, but it's just something. It's like anything else. You got to battle through it. You got to fight through it. Everybody's dealing with it.
I would never say that the COVID protocol thing would affect us to the point where we lose that day because that guy's not playing.
Right.
But I think it's more of a situation where they come back after having not played and they're rusty for that day, and not just start the first player into the mix.
Right, I understand, but the first 5 or 6 minutes, the entire team was rusty.
And you know what? And that might have been COVID protocol mixing, because those lines are not a little bit different. But you know what? 5-6 minutes, and they're back into it.
And make adjustments after the last game. You know, Philip Hedl had a great game. They bumped him up in the lineup. I mean, and you like to see that. You know what? I like seeing those moves. I hate when coaches just rely on their lines and that's it. I like to see movement like that. Not the movement that John Tortorella kept rolling through with the Rangers, mostly because everybody's getting hurt from shot blocking, because the guy was block a shot first as if the goalie didn't have pads on to do that. But I like to see movement when it's deserved, and Hedl got a nice bump up. And I really enjoy when you can lean on somebody that's the hot hand, that has the hot stick on the ice, and move them around and see how it works out, because every once in a while it really pays off.
I think Rook has.
I have one thing I wanted to chime in when you're talking about Reeves, because I love Ryan Reeves.
Who doesn't?
You guys see the video of him when, I guess, the game was starting? He was like, "Shicey, release us!"
Yes, yes.
That guy is awesome. He just keeps the locker room. Like, you need guys like that in the locker room.
You know what I was going to say when you were praising Reeves, I was going to say, and he's a gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves Ryan Reeves. Go figure. The guy who's most likely to punch you in the teeth is the guy everybody likes.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's the other thing.
What about Brandon Schneider? His start last week, he came up the first game, got a goal.
Right. He came up from the Wolfpack.
That's weird. Usually we trade them away. They come back and they get their first goal against us.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to hear how do you feel about him moving forward?
I like seeing young talent come up and prove that they can play in the NHL, because it just furthers the depth of, especially when you're coming down the stretch. Hockey is a long season, and you're going to need those guys to be able to bring up. You're going to need to fatten up that roster a little bit with guys. You can't try somebody out at the end of the year when you're going into playoffs. You need to know who you can rely on, who can play the game at that upper NHL level. And I love what I saw out of the kid. So it just makes you think that we have enough potential in the Wolfpack. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say everybody, but you have enough potential in the lower end that if something does happen, COVID protocol pops its ugly head out right when you're going into the playoffs, you have pieces that you can put into place that are going to be able to step in and not just be a stand-in, but do the job. And I love seeing it.
Now, did he go back down yet, or he's staying up for a while?
He played today.
He did play
today.
today. Okay. He's staying up.
Well,
We'll see how long he stays up for.
Right.
But he's up for the moment.
Because I think who did we just lose to the we just lost somebody to COVID protocol. Wait a second. Whatever.
Sal.
Either way, it doesn't
Sal,
matter.
get back to us about who the Rangers have on COVID protocol. As we talk about, Mika Zibanejad voted into the NHL All-Star game, and however needed to gracefully bow out due to personal concerns. Now, this was a bit of a problem across the league simply because the NHL was going to suspend him for not attending the All-Star game. I just want to point out, I love that. Fans vote these players in to play in this game because they want to see the guy play.
Absolutely.
If he doesn't show up in the NFL, it's one thing because of the Pro Bowl taking place before the Super Bowl. I get that. Like, you can't get injured before the Super Bowl. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But there is no reason. There is no reason for a player not to go to basically a fan favorites game. Like, there's no reason.
Well,
the player needs a day off too. A player has a whole fucking off season. There's nobody else getting that much time off from work at a regular job. They get paid millions of dollars to work. I think the longest season, a regular season, is baseball. Has like a 6-month regular season.
Yeah.
All the other sports are like 4 months, 5 months, and then the playoffs are like 8 months long if you make the playoffs, right? Because basketball and hockey have like 6-month long playoffs.
They go from April to June.
Yeah.
If you make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right.
If you go to the Stanley Cup.
But you essentially start in September and you finish in June. So it's a long season. I mean, listen, you don't know what's going on. I didn't read into, I don't know if they said what was going on in his personal life. I mean, the only thing I could say that
So I'm okay with him missing the game for personal reasons, but I like the NHL's policy.
I like the NHL's policy for that reason. Like you said, you want people to come out and see the best of the best. And if you're voted in as the best of the best, you want to be there, represent not just your team, but the people that voted you in, that put their faith in you, that have enough, admiration for you, that they think you deserve to be there. You should be there. But you don't know the personal issues that he is going through. On top of the fact that, I mean, imagine being that guy that's like, oh, you know what? I don't think I'm going to make the All-Star game. Oh, my sister's wedding is that weekend. I got to go to my sister's wedding. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, I got to go play hockey. That's rough. That's a rough one. I could feel for somebody in that kind of deal.
But here's the deal. You would know that in advance. It's not like all of a sudden you're like, oh, my sister's wedding. No, you would know that well in advance. You'd be like, hey, guys, I'm not like, don't put your name in the hat because he was voted in as the last guy.
Right. I agree with you. I think there's situations that call for you being allowed to miss it. But if you get voted in, it should be a legit, ironclad, rock solid reason that, all right, this guy has a good excuse. And it's not really an excuse. He can't make it. It's a reason. He's
got a valid reason for not being there.
Right.
But every sport doesn't have that. Baseball specifically, and sometimes I think that's just bullshit. Like, oh, he just doesn't want to go. He wants 4 days off. Like, fuck you, dude. This is for the fans. Like, then you know what? Yeah. Then you're not allowed to call that an all-star year. So that when you go to the contract table, you can't sit there and say you were an all-star because you didn't show up to the game. Because they took a picture of the all-star team and you weren't there that day. So clearly you weren't an all-star. So don't go to the contract table and say, well, I made the all-star team.
You didn't. You didn't go. You
weren't an all-star.
Doesn't go on the resume.
That's it. I mean, in the case of Mika Zibanejad, it's a little different. But most other sports, guys don't show up to the Pro Bowl or the All-Star game or whatever it is, simply because they're selfish and they don't care about the fans. They care about themselves. But let's get back on topic about NHL All-Stars. Adam Fox also elected to the All-Star game. Excuse me. As well as, I believe, Artemi Panarin.
Chris Kreider.
I'm sorry. Then it was Chris Kreider, not Artemi Panarin.
Yeah.
Elected to the All-Star game. Excuse me. Obviously, I'm kind of noticing like, hey, okay, Panarin didn't make it. His numbers aren't where you'd like them to be right now.
Right.
Had some COVID protocol issues. I'm okay with that. Kreider's having an amazing season. Might pull down 50 points this year plus. He might he's gonna hover around that record that Yager put up years ago. Obviously, the reigning Norris Trophy recipient is gonna be in the All-Star game. He had another 2 goals tonight, but nobody seems to be talking about, outside of New York, the Igor snub. And thank you for that. I'll give credit to Rook on that one. The Igor snub. Igor leads the NHL in a number of categories and is not in the All-Star game. Now, as a Ranger fan, you're kind of sitting there going, okay, good. We get a couple days rest.
Right.
But at the same time, I want our goalie
Best
to be
numbers in the league.
recognized for the guy that he is. God damn it.
He has the best
He's number
numbers
one
in the
goalie in the
league.
Yeah.
The only thing he doesn't lead in is wins.
Right.
That's it.
I think his goals against, I mean, it took a little hit tonight, but his
Well,
goals
his goals against
average
is number one in the
under
league.
2. Under 2.
His number goal is he's number 1 in goals against.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm saying
Yeah.
they scored 3 tonight, so it'll bump up a little bit, but it still should be just barely 2.
We'll see what his
So.
competitor does, right?
But
But
number one in the league though as a goalie.
you know, like
Complete snub.
if he's top 3 in a multitude of categories other than wins, why isn't he in the All-Star game? There's
I agree with you.
just no rationale behind it. It does not make sense. Other than
It's because
reputation
everybody's
for
sleeping
other
on the
guys.
Rangers right now. Everybody's sleeping on the Rangers right now. Everybody thinks that they're just there and it's a good luck run and that's it. I mean, the plus 2,500 to win the cup says it all. When's the last time you saw somebody leading the league in points or number 3 in points and leading the division, leading the Metropolitan Division, number 2 in the what are they? The Atlantic. The Atlantic. Thank you. The Atlantic.
I'm gonna edit this out.
Yes, the Atlantic, right? And you're gonna say they're plus 2,500. How are they not plus 8, plus 9? I mean, I showed you the list of the
Everybody's
teams that are
waiting
ahead
for
of them.
Bob to
It's a
fall.
joke. It's
Everybody's waiting for
laughable.
Bob to fall.
Listen,
Yeah.
that's one thing that the Rangers are that other teams are not. They're a complete team. The team itself has to do well. They win as a team rather than other teams that have to lean on Ovechkin or a Crosby or somebody like that. And I think that as other people are seeing that as a detriment, I feel that that's exactly what you want a professional hockey team to be, a team, a complete unit that works as one to achieve the goal. And I mean, up and down the roster, you see defense, you see goal scoring, and you see tremendous efforts by the goalie. I mean, those numbers, it's 100% a snub, but good. Let the guy get a couple days off. Sleep on them. Sleep on them.
And as a
It's fine.
Ranger fan, I'm sitting here going, fine, you can sleep on him, but at the same time, I want him to get his respect. Rookie, what do you got to think? Any thoughts about that?
No, I agree with you guys. I think it's a complete snub. You got a guy who's number 1 goalie in the entire league. Like you said, his stats are number 1. He's the top of his profession right now, and he's not in an All-Star game. I mean, I think it's unbelievable. I'm happy Kreider's in. I think it's well deserved. He's having an incredible year. He's Mr. Power Play. And then Adam Fox. I mean, what else can we say about Mr. Adam Fox? I mean, he's an incredible defender. He scores as well. He's a Norris Trophy winner. So I mean, it's just
2 goals tonight.
Respect at that point. 2 goals tonight too. So I mean, these guys are playing well. The Rangers are a complete team, like
Complete
TJ said.
team playing-
everything
yeah.
TJ said. I agree with completely.
As
Both ends of
opposed
the ice.
to our crosstown neighbors
Yeah.
that I think we can all agree that we can describe them as
pajamas.
Yeah.
Which Goring
they
can
are
enjoy.
100% pajamas.
100%.
Dude,
Which is
I
ironic.
mean,
They call John Tavares Pajama Boy.
Yeah. I mean, I think he jumped ship at the right time.
He did.
Islander fans hate him, but I guess he bailed at the right time, right?
You know what, though? They peaked.
They peaked last year.
And
And
For
and
me,
look at the
for
look at the
me, when
return
you're a
year that they're
well-put
having.
together franchise, your valley and your peak isn't that far apart.
Right.
Your valley and your peak goes like this.
You should still be closer to the top of the bell curve and not have such a high rise and then such a hard fall.
Right.
And what pieces did they lose in the offseason that would equate to such a drastic drop?
But again, they'll say COVID, and that's not a thing. Like that's everybody's dealing with it. Everybody's dealing with it. And if you're going to sit here and try and tell me that it's because of COVID, then your players are not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I mean, how is it that everybody else in the league is doing the right thing and they're not falling on such hard times as you?
Yeah.
You're most affected.
Yeah, something is wrong. And you know what's funny is I believe last week or the week before, you actually got the Rangers getting a little notice from the Barstool guys. And I'm pretty sure they made a T-shirt as saying that they're a wagon team, that people should jump on the bandwagon because they're a wagon team, and they're going to start.
We're one of the youngest team, if not the youngest teams in the NHL.
You got a team that's complete. You got a team full of young guys. You got a team full of guys that, if you told me right now that Chris Kreider before the All-Star break is going to be cracking 25 goals, I would have been like, I'll take 25 goals in a season. I mean, the guy in front of the net is lethal.
He hit 30 goals for the season. I would have crapped my pants.
Yeah. The guy is lethal in front of the net. He's a redirection king. I think he has probably 14, 15 goals off of just, tip and redirection goals in front of the net. He's unstoppable. It's amazing watching some of these goals go in. Yeah. And you know what? That's the one thing that the Rangers have been missing, that, they've always been close to the bottom in their power play. You go to the Garden, you scream, shoot the puck, because they pass it around the outside for about 45 seconds, and then the puck trickles out across the blue line. You're getting everything you want out of this team. As a Ranger fan, you should be ecstatic. As an Islander fan, you should be jumping off a bridge at this point, because the fall from grace is tremendous.
Long Island.
Yeah, well, are there any bridges out there worth jumping off of?
No.
I don't think so.
But talking about jumping from things to other things, let's move on to the NFL playoffs. I'll call it super bad wild card weekend, because my God, was that really bad football. I think we saw one game worth watching. Everything else was absolute trash. And for our people south of the border, it was basura. All right. Absolute garbage.
I would say there was two games worth watching.
The best game was the Bengals Raiders game.
Bengals Raiders and Cowboys.
Okay. Right. And I kind of saw that going that way anyway. And you know what the Raiders get for beating the fucking Chargers when we all could have had what we wanted and watched the NFL crumble last week if they would have just tied.
Well, if the Chargers got in, they're playing the Chiefs, and it's probably a much better game than seeing Big Ben Noodle Arm barely making passes down the field and having Justin Herbert with his, I stuttered all over that, Justin Herbert with his rocket arm throwing 60-yard passes down the field.
Wait. In the words of Peyton, laser rocket arm.
Yeah, laser rocket arm throwing 60-yard bombs against Patrick Mahomes in an absolute shootout. Instead, we got Big Ben falling over himself all over the place. Good God, that game was disgusting to watch.
It was awful. It was awful. Not even worth watching. You knew it was exactly what was going to happen. They were not anybody that could sit there and say this season, watching Ben Roethlisberger play, that they are a playoff team. You were out of your mind. It was a waste. An absolute waste.
Played well.
The Eagles too. Eagles is a waste too.
The defense played well for the Steelers, and Najee Harris is a force to be reckoned with, in my opinion.
The defense did play well until end of the second when they scored 14 unanswered.
I did not enjoy watching TJ Watt face mask somebody and then turn to the ref and go, but he was holding me, and that's why I had to get a personal foul. That happened. He grabs the running back. I'm pretty sure it was Najee Harris. Grabs him by his face mask, or either that or it was Claypool. Grabs him by his face mask, pulls him let's go. Like he pulls it, let's go. The ref throws the flag. And he goes, but he was holding me, so I had to break that guy's neck. You don't understand, like. And I was just like, really, TJ, really?
I think I think the most I would say surprising thing to come out of this weekend was the Kyler Murray hate. I mean, oh my God.
Oh God, yeah.
They are
that
all
game was
over
horrible,
him, bro.
too.
Kyler Murray hate if he played for the Jets would have been 9,000 times worse.
I agree.
I haven't seen any Kyler Murray hate on Twitter.
I've seen it.
Oh,
I
yeah,
have
it's
seen a
all
lot
over.
of people say, man, if Kyler Murray played for the Jets, that would have been over for him. His career would be over.
I mean, I want to say about 15 minutes after they left the locker room, he had like half the sports media in this country blocked because they were just roasting him.
Well, I'll say about that game. It was the first ever Monday night playoff game.
I hated it, by the way.
I didn't like
Yeah,
it
I agree.
either,
I agree.
but it is weird because it was like I like the 3 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday, if they're going to do it that way. That Monday night game was that it should have been a better game. I mean, I thought the Cardinals defense is better this year, but I guess they've been playing like crap. And then I thought the Rams defense would fall apart eventually. Like they did the week before and like other times in this season.
Jalen Ramsey and
But it just
Aaron
didn't.
Donald. That's all you got to say.
No, I know, but we've seen the Rams defense fall apart. Look at week 18. They didn't play that great against the Niners. The Niners came all the way
We've
back.
seen everybody fall apart this season.
That's true, but
The
that
Jets
game
beat
should
the
have been a little better.
Titans, and the Jets beat the Bengals this year.
Yeah,
That's
but
all
you
you
would-
got to say.
But you
Talk
would
about
think,
people falling apart.
yeah, I know, but you would think that game would have been better as 2 rivals who seen each other before, played 2 games against each other previously in the year. They were both good games, and then in the playoffs, just absolutely dominate the other. Like it wasn't even close. Like I shut that game off at halftime. I didn't feel like even watching it anymore.
That being said, I think we're missing the albatross, the elephant in the room. Dak Prescott's performance against the San Francisco 49ers.
Let's talk about that
in
game
Sunday night
first. We'll talk about that game first, then we'll get to that moment. But that game was on Nickelodeon. Did you guys watch the Nickelodeon?
I
game?
watched it on Nickelodeon because it was way more fun.
It
The
is
only thing I did not like about that game on Nickelodeon was that kid, Little Dylan. I think his name is Little Dylan.
I don't know. I didn't
Because he was using all this Gen Z vernacular, and I was just like, at one
Where's
point he said
Sal?
Liddy. He's
It's
like,
like,
this
where's-
game is Liddy, and I was like, you lost me, kid.
You're like texting Sal. Hey Sal, what does this mean? Tell
I was
Translate this
I was
broadcast.
sending Sal messages like, "Hey Gen Z, what the fuck is Liddy?" And he said he means lit. And I go, "What does that mean? Is that's the band that sings My Own Worst Enemy, right?" And he was like, "It means it's cool." I'm like, "Well, then why the fuck didn't he just say that? You kids today."
I swear to God, I would if my son ever said Liddy to me because he was watching Nickelodeon, I would just get rid of cable altogether.
Listen,
It would be thrown. I would throw the box out of the house. It
T,
would just get run over in the street.
It's
in
gonna
the
happen.
immortal words of Scar from The Lion King, be prepared.
Seriously,
It's coming.
it's
Oh
coming.
my God!
But we'll go back to that game though.
I'm gonna make him wear Jesus sandals to school and be like, because those shits are Liddy. Like, get out.
So
Snowing.
Deebo Samuel.
In
Deebo
February.
Samuel was the first 49ers wide receiver to have a rushing touchdown in the playoffs, which I thought was incredible. I think Deebo Samuel is one of the best talents in the NFL.
I think Deebo Samuel runs the ball a lot because he can't catch.
he has. I mean, he's a good talent. He's fast. He runs.
He
runs
drops
the ball.
5% of the
He's
passes
wide
that are thrown his
receiver.
way.
He plays wide receiver too, though. He could catch
I'm
touchdowns.
not saying he doesn't. Listen, he's very talented. I'm just saying is he runs the football because he can't catch.
That's probably true.
You know what?
I
You
mean,
know what's funny though?
Evan
And I
Hester-
actually, I was gonna say I actually really respect, and I always respect when athletes take the time to do this. Is I didn't realize that was his thing. That before games, Deebo Samuel likes to go over to the sidelines and throw passes to fans and just have a catch with them, and then goof around about how bad they throw it back to him.
That's
So
pretty.
I
know
think
what,
that's
though?
awesome. I love when
That's
players
life-changing.
interact with fans.
Yeah,
And you know, and I applaud Deebo Samuel for that one because baseball players do that a lot. You'll see a lot of baseball players, outfielders specifically. They'll go in the outfield and they'll just have a catch with a kid
Yeah,
in the seats. I've seen
It
Aaron
changes
Judge do
somebody's
it.
life.
I've seen Ken Griffey Jr. do it. I've
Yeah.
seen Torrey Hunter do it. I've seen a couple of guys on the Mariners. I can't remember off the top of my head right now who it was. But going to the sideline and finding a kid and throwing him a ball is everything in the world to that kid. And any athlete that takes the time out of his professional work day to give to a child and change their life, you know, you just got to clap it up to them and say they fucking get it. They get
You
it.
know, and any interaction is great. I mean, today was National Popcorn Day, and they kept replaying when Don Mattingly went over to the first base side for a pop-up that it went into the seats, walked over and started eating a kid's popcorn, was just looking at him. The kid was like,
looking up. Don Mattingly was just looking down like, ooh, free popcorn. The
He
kid's
just
like,
eats
who's
his
touching my
popcorn.
popcorn? And Don Mattingly's like, I don't know. What's that?
Don Mattingly was like, I love popcorn.
Yeah. So
You know,
anyway, back
Yes,
to that game.
Sal,
So
good
we
call.
have
Prince fielded with the nachos. Absolutely. That
so
was
back to
also
the Niners
awesome.
Cowboys. We have the obviously the Niners come out strong. They start off that game.
They look like a playoff team. They
Yeah,
look
they
like
do.
a
They
team
look
that
really
deserved
good.
to be there. And you know what? They had a couple miscues this season. They
Mhm.
came out firing on all cylinders. And I mean, the way they moved down the field, it was awesome. And you have Garoppolo throwing insane passes. That was a game to watch right there that I wasn't expecting to be, impressed by.
And the defense played well too. And then Nick,
Yeah.
go into the that final drive there. Dallas has the ball, chance to win the game because they were down by 6. So if they get a touchdown and an extra point, they win the game.
Yep.
And then Dak Prescott, our Nick was talking about this before. So I know you want to go into this, Nick. So go ahead.
I mean, if that's the play call, fire Mark. I don't know why Mike McCarthy has not been fired yet. If that's the play call. Now, if Dak went off script and didn't see his option and just took off, that's not Mike McCarthy's fault. Fire him anyway. But I'm not, and I have nothing against Mike McCarthy, and I'm not a Cowboy hater. The only reason I hate the Cowboys is because Skip Bayless is a Cowboys fan, and I just don't like him because he looks like a slimy old man. Like he's a slimy old man that still dresses like he's 22 and he's like 65.
It's weird.
And he's like wearing Jordans with like a suit. Like, dude, you are not Liddy. Stop.
Please
Like,
stop.
You know,
Stop.
like
You
you're
stop.
not.
You can't use Liddy now.
Listen, stop it.
Anyway,
But listen,
so back to the play. Dak has 14 seconds left in the clock. He's going down the field, decides to do a QB draw, runs down the field, and I don't know. I guess they don't.
Oh, again, allegedly decides to do a QB draw. We don't know who called that play.
Yeah, okay, allegedly. So we don't know who decided to call, but that was
counselor allegedly leading the witness.
Yes, and we don't know. No one really knows what it was. Either Mike McCarthy, the OC, or Dak doing it. Either way, 14 seconds left, no timeouts left. They get to the line. Now, usually what you do is when you get to the line, you go down. You get that ball to the officials as soon as possible so they can spot.
You throw it at the umpire.
They did not do that. They spotted the ball themselves. They have to wait for the umpire to come.
He handed it off to the center.
He gave it to the center. Then he blocks the ref from getting to the ball.
Well, not only that, but the center spots it a yard further.
Yeah, and he's got to put it back.
It was.
And then it was spotted, just wasn't spotted.
It was still spotted wrong by the umpire.
Yeah, but either way, the ball was not snapped before the clock ended.
Right. I'm just saying is when the umpire touches the ball, now it can be snapped, right? There wasn't enough time. Either way, that's not the right position.
No, but it's either way, it's not.
Technically speaking, when Dak hands the ball off to the center, a flag should have been thrown for delay of game.
Yeah, technically speaking. But the Cowboys fans and the Cowboys are blaming the refs, including Dak Prescott. It's not the refs' fault. You
know what? That's for the lack of accountability and leadership on Dak's part.
Yes,
but the call to now change the rules, until the clock shouldn't run until the ref puts hands on the ball. The game has been that way. Be better at clock management. Be better at saving your timeouts. This isn't, it happened to us and it shouldn't have happened. Guess what? You had that much time on the clock. You knew you had that much time on the clock. You don't run the fucking ball.
Exactly. I agree.
You know, and I saw that jackass Skip Bayless go. The Dallas Cowboys were a better football team. They just weren't prepared to play better. No, they weren't. That's why they lost. That's why they lost.
Yeah.
They weren't a better football team because they weren't a better football team. That's it. They lost. Get over it. Skip Bayless, get over it.
The Cowboys cannot win the game.
You look like more of a jackass because you won't accept the fact that they just weren't that good.
Right. Listen, the Cowboys cannot win a big game, and they used to blame it on Tony Romo, but you can't do that shit anymore. Okay? They cannot win a big game. End of story. They're just you could do whatever you want in the regular season. Okay, and you can't say they don't have the talent to move forward in the playoffs because they definitely have the talent to move forward, but they just can't seem to get that monkey off the back. And
it comes down to that big play moment. You know, for all the hatred Mark Sanchez gets for the butt fumble and things like that, he was big in a lot of playoff games.
Absolutely.
You know, he was big, and Dak is not. There are some guys that just are not playoff clutch. I hate Eli Manning, but that man was playoff clutch. Couldn't play during the regular season. He'll lead the league in every stat other than yards and touchdowns. So basically fumbles and interceptions and incomplete passes. He'll lead in that. But when you get that man in the playoffs and he can play some fucking football all of a sudden, it was like he needed the whole season to warm up.
Right.
I mean, he only made the playoffs like twice in his career. So
listen, my final take on that is the fact that I don't want to hear Cowboy fans saying that they got hosed or screwed or anything like that. The game has been the game. It's been the same way. The clock runs. I don't want to hear it. You tried to run the fucking ball with that little bit of time on the clock. What did you think was going to happen?
That was so stupid.
I mean, everybody in the NFL knows on defense when the clock is running, you lay on the guy that has the ball. You try to delay that clock as much as you can because guess what? You're allowed to.
So moving on from that, I won't get into too much in the Eagles Bucks. That was just a slaughter, as we said before. Steelers and Eagles probably didn't really deserve to be in the playoffs.
But Steelers last game for Ben Roethlisberger. So if he rapes somebody, it'll be on his own personal time and not on the Steelers' time anymore.
All right. Well, allegedly, if you rape someone. So moving on, the last game that we didn't really talk about was the Bengals Raiders. It was a close game. I think kind of what the difference was that weird whistle play where Joe Burrow was towards the sideline. The ref does an inadvertent whistle, pretty much stops some of the defenders, and then they score a touchdown on it, and then the touchdown is upheld. Where they were saying that apparently on the broadcast was that it should have been a redo and play that down again, as opposed to giving them the touchdown. Raiders lose by a touchdown. So I know Raiders fans are upset about it. It is one of those weird things where, unfortunately it does happen, mistakes happen, but the rules should have been applied there at that point, but it wasn't. I thought that was a good game as well.
Great game. Came down to the wire.
Yeah.
Hard fought. I mean,
I thought the Raiders had it at the end. I thought they were going to tie it up. But
I did as well.
But Joe Burrow moves on.
I'm not a fan of fans blaming wins and losses on one play.
No, I get that. I agree with you.
Simply because there was a whole game to be played. Like, I missed that game on Saturday. I had plans. But just for as an example, the 49ers and Cowboys game, fans want to blame it on that ending, right? Well, what about the 12 penalties that took place before that?
I think it was 14 penalties in the Cowboys.
It was probably 14 penalties. 14. What about those? You don't lose the game in the fourth quarter. You lose it in the first, second, and third, and now it comes down. Sal says 15 total penalties. Thank you,
15. So we both were lower.
All right.
Price is right. I'd win though.
but the Raiders didn't lose because of that one play. There's probably 10 plays that they lost because of, and it ultimately came down to that one play that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And that's what it came down to. You don't lose the game in the ninth inning or in the fourth quarter or in the third period. You lose it the entire way through because there's opportunities the whole way through.
Of course.
But you only want to focus on that one part where you got the short end of the stick because it makes you feel better about the fact that you failed the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think also fans do tend to do that because it's like, well, that's the one play that probably could have changed the momentum of the game. So at that point, I mean, great, it was
in your favor.
What's that?
In your own favor.
Well, yeah, of course. But I mean, if you look at it,
you could have won it though. The previous 15 plays total. Let's say like Sal says 15 penalties. If those 15 penalties never occur, you probably win the game.
Yeah, well, of course. But I'm saying for the Raiders' sake, at that point, that was early second quarter, I think, when that touchdown happened. You still had 2 quarters of football to play to get that game tied. And, it didn't happen for them. But, I mean, it is when there's a bad play like that and it sticks out in everybody's mind and it's constantly talked about in the media, everybody was talking about after the game. So it sticks out. Everyone talks about it. And then it sticks to everybody like, oh, we would have won that game if it wasn't for this one play everyone keeps talking about. So it does happen. It's just, and that's sports though. That's sports.
I don't disagree with you on that one, but I think it's more of a person who's not playing. Because me as a competitor, I and TJ can attest to this. We played baseball for years together. People used to ask me what was your favorite play you ever made? I never really concentrated on the ones I made. It was every play I didn't make.
Mm-hmm.
It was every play. I could have fucking stretched it into a double. I could have made that catch. I could have made that throw, and I didn't. I don't think about the umpire fuck. I can't remember one time where the umpire fucked me and I'm sitting there going, fucking umpire fucked me.
Okay. Cosmos and doing your nails on the bench.
All right. Well, let's
go. But I just want last thing about the NFL. Oh, I got 2 things about the NFL.
Well, then we're going to go into the divisional round.
Well, one thing I'll say is the first thing I'll say is I picked all the winners this weekend.
It's good. I did terrible. So
watch the video last week. I picked all your winners this weekend.
I did. I was horrible. I said the Cardinals.
I think TJ did pretty good too, actually.
Yeah, TJ did pretty good.
I think I got the Cardinals wrong, right?
Yeah.
I think you just got the Cardinals. I said Cardinals. I said Raiders.
And I want to clap it up for Joe Hayden. I want to clap it up for Joe Hayden. He's our golf clap of the week. Of all the people in the NFL, and I'm not saying nobody else has done it. I'm saying I haven't seen anybody else. I haven't seen anybody else do it. And Joe Hayden tweeted today, my NFL players just getting into off season, please be smart, get a driver or car service. One night can change your life. With all that's happened in the NFL this season with between Henry Ruggs, who's the other guy from the Raiders that also got a DUI this year?
It's Josh Jacobs, but he got a DUI, but he beat it. He wasn't at the actually. I don't want to get into legal terms of it, but he basically wasn't found guilty of being drunk driving.
Yeah, he skated. Okay, I got it. He drove his car for 5 feet, turned it off, and parked in front of the fucking arm that lifts you up out of the garage because he wasn't in a parking space. Okay, so clearly he moved his car, but when they caught him, the car was not moving and he was sleeping with the keys in the ignition. Yeah, in New York, he's going to jail. Just throwing that out there.
New Jersey too, but Las Vegas.
In New York, if you're in the car with your keys, you're going to jail.
New Jersey too. It's the same thing.
All right. So yeah, he had intentions on driving drunk and then decided at the last minute he was more tired than he was anything else. But point being is, of all the people in the NFL, and I think there needs to be more veterans like Joe Hayden who are advocating for being safe on your personal time. There aren't enough veterans going to these younger players telling them, dude, don't get in trouble on your personal time.
There's no excuse. They have all the money in the world. I mean, how many times did I go to a barbecue with you, Nick, or meet you at a bar and I'm taking a cab or an Uber or anything?
You take your wife. You're really smart. That's what
I don't want her to be on the road, all those drunks leaving the bar.
Your wife drives. That she doesn't have a drink. She just sits there and watches you and me drink. When she was pregnant, that was the greatest time ever. She would just come just to like socialize, and you would drink, and she'd just be sitting there like, oh, this is how she stands too.
No, but she would do what I was doing with the Rangers score and just stare at me and be like, "You done yet?"
So I
started drinks.
Yeah, I think more people should advocate for cabs, Ubers. I mean,
it's too easy now. It's way too easy now.
Way too eezy. Even
the league has their own car service.
They have their own car service, and the thing is too, like these guys that make so much money. We just talked about how much money they make. We're talking about Dak and giving them $500. It's like nothing, a drop in the pen. Just hire a driver. Just hire a driver for just a week. Just always have a driver, no matter what. You go to practice, have him drive. Who cares?
But if you know you're going out partying, you're going to the club, get a driver.
My brother used to do that. My brother used to drive like he drove Derek Jeter one day.
Yeah, if any athletes out there need a ride, give me a call. I'll come pick you up.
Leave your Burrow jersey home.
I'll leave the Burrow jersey, stay home. Burrow jersey.
Yeah, Joe Hayden, thank you very much. We appreciate you setting a good example for the younger members of the NFL and trying to keep America safe from drunk drivers. Like I more people in the NFL should be putting that message out there.
I agree.
And good job. Good on you. Just good on you, Joe Hayden. Appreciate it.
All right, so moving on to the divisional round of the NFL. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt Joe Hayden's golf clap there, but so moving on to divisional round NFL playoffs. So, we got, let's see, pull up the bracket, the updated bracket here. Oh, I got rid of the banner. Hold on. All right, so we got on the NFC side, number 1 Packers versus the Niners. Then you got the Bucks versus the Rams, and then on the AFC side, Titans, Bengals, and then Chiefs, Bills. So all 1, 2, 3, 4 seeds make it in the AFC, and the only real upset there was the Niners over the Cowboys this weekend. So, as we said, it wasn't a great weekend for the wild card. Super wild card weekend wasn't that super or wild. It's pretty much chalk here in the NFL. And I will say, interesting stat.
All right, listen, hey,
wait, it's pajamas. Interesting stat though. So for the NFC, Tom Brady is older than all of the coaches that are left besides Bruce Arians.
Yeah, he's 44, and they're 44. All 42.
The floor I think is like 42. Shanahan is 42, and then McVay is pretty much our age.
38.
I mean, we're doing this, and he's coaching.
38. First of all,
35.
Pretty sure I don't think he's 35.
Oh, he's not. I saw
38.
caption somewhere that he was 35. Maybe he's a little
I think he
older.
was hired when he was 35.
Oh, was he? So he's like 38 then right now. Still, he's younger. He's still Tom Brady's older than him.
Don't fucking lump me in with 38-year-olds, motherfucker.
Let's see. Now he's 35. Stat Guy Sal says 35.
Damn you, Sal. Trying to make us feel old and shit.
He makes us feel old with the 90s thing, the Gen Z stuff. Now he's gonna make us feel older. Thanks. We talk about football, and Sean McVay's 35 coaching football in the NFL.
I bet you he remembers Pogs.
He probably does.
He probably still has a Tamagotchi on his keys.
That'd be amazing.
He tried to sell me a fucking Fugazi Charizard one time. I'm telling you. I can see through this. This ain't real.
Wait, fun fact, Sean McVay won like the state of Georgia's like best player in high school over Calvin Johnson.
Wow. How'd that work out?
Yeah, but probably because Sean McVay was like a senior and Calvin Johnson was a freshman at 6'2".
Yeah, you're probably right.
They were like, he'll get it next year. Give it to this kid. He's got nothing.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
shit.
True.
Should we get Sal in here? Let Sal get some predictions in there?
Yeah, I'll bring him back in. So here's the divisional round breakdown. So if you guys want to, I guess Nick, you want to start?
I'll start. I'm gonna go Bengals over Titans, which I don't think is a stretch. I really don't. They have a quarterback. The Titans don't.
Wow.
I'm gonna go Chiefs over the Bills because fuck the Bills and their hillbilly fans. Fucking eating Cheerios and eating wings, and that's it in Canada. Taking the Packers over the Niners. Jimmy Garoppolo is being listed as having a serious hand and shoulder injury, according to insiders. So he may not play Sunday, in which case you're thrusting Trey Lance into a starting role against Aaron friggin' Rodgers. And, I've done it before, and it's always a mistake. But I'm going to take because I've done it before, I'm not going to do it now. And I'm going to take Tom Brady to beat the Rams. It's not the Bucks. It's the Tampa Bay Tom Brady's. And they're going to beat the Rams because it's fucking Tom Brady.
All right, TJ, what you got?
All right. I actually I hate doing this, but I'm going to go with the Titans. I'm hoping that they show up and play a complete game. They're a little back and forth, but I think I like the Titans stacking up against the Bengals a little better. Going Chiefs over Bills, but I'm not going to sit here and say I'm confident in that. I think the Bills have the propensity to show up and play a complete game. I mean, they just literally scored a touchdown every time they touched the ball other than when they took a knee this past weekend. So that's pretty damn impressive. I think that's the first time that's been done where you score a touchdown every time you're playing offense other than when you're just running the clock out and taking knees. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Taking the Packers over the 49ers, regardless of if Garoppolo is injured or not. I think the Packers are going to win that game. And then how do you not take Tom Brady? Statistically, I think he's going to be running out of fingers soon with all the Super Bowl rings he has. So I'll go with the Bucs on that one.
All right. Sal, what do you got?
I got to go with the Bengals over the Titans. And then I'm going to go with the Chiefs over the Bills. Burrow and Mahomes, that should be good. I got to go with the Packers over the 49ers. You can't go wrong with Rodgers. And then I got to go with my guy Brady over the Rams. Bucs over the Rams.
Those are good picks, Sal. Those are good picks.
Yeah, those are solid picks.
I don't understand why he's your guy, Brady.
I'm
concerned about you. I'm concerned about your future employment comments like that. But
you can't deny he's the GOAT.
Okay,
that's true. So wait, is King Henry back? Titans have Henry back, right, this week?
They do.
All right. I'm gonna go Bengals here just because I'm gonna pick them.
You're a Joe Burrow guy. Everybody knows that. You're an LSU guy for years. For as long as I've known you, you're an LSU guy.
Forever. I'm just a huge LSU fan. Coach O, baby. And then I'm gonna go Bills. So I'm gonna go Bengals, Bills. And then I'm gonna go Packers, Rams.
Wow, contrarian.
Yeah, you know what? The Bucs defense has been picking up. They have been playing better, but I don't know. I feel like the Rams. And I was like, I don't know. I'm just gonna go with the Rams. It's probably a mistake, but it's It's what I'm going to go with. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I was wrong last week, so no one listened to me. But
I mean, listen, if you go statistically, if Tom Brady's not playing the New York team in the playoffs, he's got a pretty damn good chance of winning a Super Bowl.
no, he's not playing NFC East team too, because the Eagles beat him in the Super Bowl as well. So,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So before we move on from there with our picks, just everyone be aware that we do have coming up a big game bonanza with Belly Up Sports on the TV. So let me just move this out of the way. We're going to be involved in this. What we're going to be doing is gambling, doing fun props, player props. We have about a 20-minute segment while they do it. This will be live on the Belly Up Sports TV channel, sponsored by Manscaped and Yeats. It'll be on TE Live. So live Sunday, right before the big game, we will be on with the rest of the Belly Up. So check them all out. You got High Low Sports, TSS Fantasy, the Belly Up Sports podcast, Gridiron Gallery. Sorry, I messed that up. and then MD's Fantasy Football Show. So I'm excited to be involved in it. I think it'll be a fun time. Especially anytime we talk stupid props and player props. That's my thing. That's what I do. I waste a ton of money every Super Bowl.
Love it.
Gambling on stupid props.
How do you not? Listen, Sal, heads or tails? What are you a heads guy or a tails guy?
Yeah. What are you?
On the coin
Heads.
flip.
Heads.
Oh, tails never fails.
Yeah, tails never fails, but I still bet heads because I'm like, it's going to fail eventually. We're actually going to do it with, I believe, the host of MD's Fantasy Football. He's going to go through it with us as well. So,
Gentlemen. All right. Well, moving on from NFL playoffs, we'll move on to short baseball related conversations. The Yankees international free agency has arrived, and the Yankees have signed the number 1 overall free agent prospect. His name is Roderick Arias, and he
kicking
is
Sal out. I just realized.
we
Let him
can kick,
stay.
I
We
mean,
only
we
got
can
one
keep
second
Sal, we can kick him out.
Let him
So
hang
kick
out.
him? No,
I don't mind looking at him.
He's about to get kicked out of friggin' Bellworks.
I know. Bellworth is literally going to shut the lights on me in about 10 seconds.
But
So you can hang around because you're a big Yankees fan, so we'll keep you around. Then this is
All
gonna be the last segment of the show anyway. So hang around with us, talk some Yankees, and then we'll close it up, wrap us up.
All right. Sounds good.
Roderick Arias, the number 1 prospect in international free agency this year out of the Dominican Republic, where they seem to just make up names these days. Can't imagine where a Hispanic player gets the name Roderick. Whatever happened to good old-fashioned Spanish names like Nicasio and Miguel? But Roderick Arias, shortstop out of the Dominican Republic, gets signed by the Yankees to be their prospect, and he'll probably land somewhere, not this year, but maybe next year, or excuse me, mid-season if they have a season. He'll end up on Baseball America's top 100 prospects. What are you guys' thoughts on that? I mean, me personally, I just feel like everybody talks about the draft. Honestly, the draft is bullshit. Good teams don't get better through the draft. You have to be bad to get a good pick in the draft. And in baseball, unlike other sports, you cannot trade draft picks.
Right.
So the best you can do as a good team is to sign an international free agent. And that's what the Yankees just did. They signed the number 1 overall free agent. What do you guys think?
Is he going to be playing with the Tarpons this year?
No.
Oh.
No, he'll go to a shorter season rookie A before he gets there.
That was your only comment on it?
Yeah.
I don't know much about this guy. I know he's only like 17, right?
Yeah,
he's
he's
17. He's a shortstop, switch hitter.
a switch
I
hitter.
heard some good things about his bat. So
Five
he's
tools.
He's the top international signing they have. So why not?
I'm
He's
just happy
good to
like,
have down there.
it's nice to just see something happen at MLB wise.
Yeah, honestly.
Everything else is locked out. The only thing you could do is his international signings. But I like that we got a shortstop, so we could trade our top shortstop to get Matt Olson or
Torres?
or
You want to trade Torres?
Torres and Anthony Volpe.
Oh my! Then I don't think they're good. Do you think they're going to trade both?
Why would they sign
Sabermetrics
guys?
says that a first baseman has 0 value by comparison to a shortstop.
Wait, but they want Matt Olson and what's his name, Chapman, right?
Chapman. I like Sean Manaea too. Package him in there. We need a starter.
Do you guys need
Why not?
I mean, Yankees need a starter, so yeah, I mean, I'll be okay with that. We got this young kid, 17 years old. By the time we Correa needs to play third, You know,
Did you hear what he wants? They came out with a report today. He wants
Hold on.
330 million.
Let's pump the brakes there. I'm going to involve TJ in this. T, what do you think about the international signing?
You know what? I don't know much about the kid. I don't follow the international signings like that. But if he's the top prospect and the Yankees just picked him up, I mean, why not? And if you know anything about baseball, it's if you're going to get somebody from the Caribbean, they're probably a stud right out the gate. That's what they do. They play baseball. They make a friggin' baseball mitt out of boxes and shoelaces, and they play baseball. They don't play
That's
Nintendo.
racist.
It's not racist. It's a fact. They don't play Nintendo. They don't sit there on fucking TikTok eating glizzies or whatever the fuck people are doing now. Okay, they play fucking baseball. It's, you know what? Somebody hit me grounders right now on this friggin' field made of rocks and stone. Okay, and they make the plays, and I love
I
it.
just want to point out that my favorite thing was they're not on TikTok eating glizzies.
It's a fact.
I'm going to share that with my soldiers because they say glizzy all the time. Apparently, they're calling Joey Chestnut the glizzy guzzler.
Oh my God.
that does
I
sound
think
really bad.
swallowing hot dogs whole wasn't already somewhat suspicious.
I mean,
Oh my
Joey Chestnut would be
God.
really popular in prison.
The glizzy guzzler.
That's what my boys. That's what my guys are telling me. I hate these corporals so much. I just promoted
honestly,
these two guys that harass me with all this Gen Z conversation. I call them Zoomies, like boomers are baby boomers.
Yeah.
Gen Z are Zoomers.
I gotta
Makes sense.
say, Nick, given your line of work, if this is the prospect to protect our country, I need to buy more ammo.
What's messed up is that they volunteered and others didn't.
I appreciate them volunteering, but they should
They're the best of the
voluntarily
best of
stop
the
saying
best.
glizzy.
With honors.
Sure.
This Yankees
I love those
International
guys. I love them to death. They're solid soldiers, but I hate them so much.
Just
I
take a
tell them
left
that
turn.
regularly. But all right, so moving on about that, we talked about international free agency. Along with that, is what Rook was saying is Anthony Volpe has been listed as Baseball America's number 10 overall prospect out of their top 100 for the New York Yankees. And obviously, Anthony Volpe also plays shortstop, as well as Oswaldo Peralta.
Yeah.
Actually, his name might just be Oswald Peraza. It's Oswald Peraza, excuse me. And then also the potential of signing someone like Marcus Semien,
Trevor
Story, or
Correa.
Carlos Correa also exists. So I think it's great that Volpe has developed himself into a top 10 prospect, not only in the Yankees organization where he's the number 1 prospect, but across Major League Baseball, minor league baseball. He is the number 10 prospect across the sport. What are your thoughts on that and how it affects how the signing of Roderick Arias affects that and also the potential signing of someone like Carlos Correa or Trevor Story?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was going to say real quick, Anthony Volpe's playing in Somerset this year for the AA team, so we should go down there and see them and do a ballpark review.
Where's that?
It's in Somerset, New Jersey. It's right off with 287, 278, one of those roads.
Jesus,
As long as you're driving, you can come pick me up.
But no, I mean, I think it does affect the Yankees shortstop situation in their organization. Now that they got Roderick, Arias. So I mean, I don't know. I was saying it's a
You'll know it soon enough.
What?
You'll know it soon enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's a domino effect when you sign someone like that. If he's a top international guy, he's there. He plays the same position as 2 other top prospects. You got to think now we're loaded at shortstop for the future, but all these guys can't always play at the same time. You also don't know who's going to pan out, who's not. So is it better off to ship one of these guys off to get a guy that we know could get produced in MLB? I mean, I'd be okay with that. I mean, I also don't think Gleyber Torres is the answer right now at shortstop. I mean, you got to.
He's definitely not the answer at shortstop.
He's not, and you got to move him. You got to move him. Either sign someone big name, trade off one of these guys, and improve the team somewhere else. Get a starter or something, or you got to move Torres and then sign a shortstop. Which the Yankees, the way the Yankees have been spending, I don't think they're signing a big name like Carlos Correa. I mean, I would like to, but obviously Sal was alluding to it. He's asking for a lot of money, and the rumors are. So I mean, you got to go with somebody who either is in your organization or someone who's a lower, maybe not as long-term deal, or if it is long-term, at least someone who's a little bit cheaper, which would be like leave you with like a Simmons or a Story. So
Your thoughts, T?
I mean, anytime you increase, I guess your team in odds of having somebody that's going to move up and be a potential stud in your organization, and then again you have a top 10 guy now that can possibly become a bargaining chip, a trading chip. How does that not help your team? I mean, it allows you, if you are stacked in one position, especially in the minors where you have big name prospects, or at least prospects that are rated across the league as, a guy that's a stud without becoming a stud yet. It allows you to then improve everywhere else in your organization. So, like Rook said, we don't know who's going to pan out. Time will tell. But to have that depth at any one position and have that high of a situation as far as prospects go, it's only going to help. I mean, you don't want to try to trade somebody away that may potentially be the guy and put all your eggs in one basket and say, no, Arias is our guy now, without seeing him play or without letting him go through the process of developing. I mean, he's a young kid, but on paper, it appears that the Yankees are stacked in that one spot and we can make maneuvers to get a starting pitcher or, somebody that's in the MLB now to make our team immediately better for somebody that can move over and eventually be a stud in that organization. So anytime you can develop a player and make him better inside is great, but to have those trading pieces to make your organization better now is always a good thing.
Sal, what are your thoughts? And I know you had something to say about Carlos Correa. So why don't you roll that all into there?
Yeah. John Heyman today reported that before the lockout, Correa wanted $330 million. And I don't see the Yankees and Cashman making that deal.
Over how long?
They didn't say that. Probably, I would think 10 years maybe. But they didn't give years.
Nobody's getting a 10-year deal in baseball anymore.
Judge might get a 10-year deal.
Judge might, yeah.
No, not at all. By the time he's a free agent, he's 29 years old. Nobody's signing him for a 10-year deal.
But the problem is you don't think somebody else will give him 10 years and more money.
No, I don't. I don't think they'll give him 10 years. I don't think anybody's going to give him 10 years.
I disagree.
I would. Torres cannot play short. Defensively, he's horrible. He's horrible. I cringe when a ball goes to him because I'm like, oh my God, he's going to throw it away. He's going to throw it to first and it's going to go over his head. It's going to go under his glove. I know what's going to happen. I would either move him to second or just package him in a deal and maybe trade him to the A's for Olsen or Chapman. Put Manaea in there. Why not?
So in that scenario, Sal, what happens to DJ LeMahieu?
Probably move him over to first. You're probably gonna have to move him over to first, or you can move him to.
But if you trade for Olsen, he's not playing first.
Well, if you trade, then you probably move him to third, and then
what happens to Urshela?
You maybe trade him too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think about it. You have
maybe
to
put him. Maybe you could put him in the A's deal.
You would have to move Torres at that point because then you're moving DJ all over, and then you can't put him at first because then you're also losing bats. With if Voigt's still around, let's say they don't make a move for a good first baseman.
Mm-hmm.
If Voigt's still around, then Cashman really just doesn't give a shit about baseball.
I agree. I agree with you there. But
if Voigt's still around, that means they didn't re-sign Rizzo.
No,
and they didn't trade for Olsen.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's my point.
In which case, Cashman literally just sat around, just not trying at all this winter.
Let's hope.
I would put Correa at short, put DJ at third, trade for Olsen, and then second.
See, I would play. Well, I mean, are you trading Glaber for Olsen?
Yeah, you put him.
Well, then why is DJ not playing second and Urshela playing third?
Yeah, keep Urshela.
True. Yeah, that's right. Gio. You could leave Gio at third.
Yeah.
So it'd be Gio at third, Correa at short, LeMahieu at second, and then Olsen at first.
I would say right now, if they're going to trade for Olsen, it's going to include Glaber and it's going to include Volpe.
Yeah, I agree.
And DJ is going to play second. You know, they if they're going to get Olsen, they're going to get DJ. They're going to have DJ at second, Olsen at first. Urshela's playing third, and they got to sign Correa at that point.
All I know is there's a lot of question marks around the Yankees right now, and
somehow they're still number 2 to win the World Series.
And there's a lot of question marks around the MLB right now because we don't even know if we're going to have a season still.
We appreciate your time here, spending this with us in the Scoreboard Addicts podcast from Anthony, TJ, our intern, Stat Guy Sal, and myself. I want to thank you for spending this time with us. We'll see you again next week. Cheers and have a good one.
Stay rock.